You. Just getting it set up on the IG right now. Mm.
What's going on, people? For those two who are on, what's up? What's up? I'm just getting ready to join live on IG. Oh, just like that, they left.
Say that again. My bad. I turned you out. My fault. I'm doing it now for the live. What'd you say? Here we go. Finally live. All right. Invite should be coming through. What's up, Jess? What's up, Shay? You got the link, bro? Oh man, gotta restart my joint. I'll be tight.
I just sent the request.
So go live. Hopefully give me the okay. With this thread shit, I gotta update it every 48 hours now. It literally said you're unable to join. Well, I'm gonna come out of here. I feel like I'm thinking this shit right now. Mm, try this one again. I'm gonna have to get that one. Um,
All right, there we go.
good to go. Turn you down over there. All right. Now we live. Jesus. Happy Wednesday.
What's
can't
going
be
on, bro?
can't be a Wednesday without a little bit of technical difficulties as often.
Indeed, indeed. What's going on, brother?
Can't complain on man. Hump day. Middle of the week vibes already. Um, trying to get Trump out of here, but that's another topic, another day. Other than that, how you been, no broski? How was work? You went in or you chilled out? Heading with the PTOs.
Nah, this week I'm keeping it remote, man. Got a couple things to do, a lot of running around, so I don't think I'll be in the office until Friday because got to make some city moves. So that's when it makes sense to actually go up in there.
All right, fuck it. Show up only when there's a meeting. Other than that, bro, the email that the .com is hella active. It's hella active.
That's a fact.
I'm not
That
gonna hold
is
you.
a fact.
Give me this over here. Access back to that. Nah, but yeah, man. I got a few more minutes before we get into anything. But if you haven't yet, if you're here now, episode 59 is out. Utopia Views. Go check that out. Me and Mr. Signori himself did a quick breakdown of the album. Heard it again twice today by accident. It just be on now in the ear, unfortunately. But still a good album, man. Can't complain. Can't complain.
Yeah. I took a couple of my favorite tracks and put them on the playlist just for the gym purposes. I don't need to go through the whole 19 during the gym. I just need those
Facts.
quick hitters and then
Facts.
back at
Facts.
it, man.
Can't complain. Can't complain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's an interesting hump day because I think like this week the weather is more springish than anything. So
Okay.
all those like if you was making pool or beach plans in August, unless you like a real hardcore, don't
Facts.
mind getting in the water while it's cold type person, yeah, you might want to second guess that them temperatures, man, because I
Right.
think
It's
it's
not
like
worth it.
barely above 80 right now. So
Ugh.
yeah.
Yeah, I can't get in the cold bodies of water, man.
Nah.
I'm a warm body pool slash ocean person, and I don't really do oceans at all. It's because there ain't no fence out there, man. No sharks be out there. Nobody checking out IDs out there in the water. So
Yeah,
I'm good on
man.
the regulated waters for me only.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me just get this out to a couple peoples. Get them to get in here and join the conversation with us. Yeah, I think that's good. All right. Give it about
What's up,
two more
Tanya?
minutes.
Tanya, you gotta send Tanya a shirt, man. You gotta send us the size and a PO box in the DM. You gotta send her a shirt.
Definitely, definitely.
Or new merch up this weekend. I mean, if y'all ain't check it out, go check that out. It ain't happy yet, so that's when the weekend come. Go check that out. Working on it, working on it. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, man. It was weird last week. Um, like Friday, I was coming home from the gym and I was on a Zoom call.
Mhm.
So in the middle of coming home, all of a sudden, I leave the gym and all of a sudden like the call gets all like cuts off and shit.
Mhm.
So I'm there trying to reconnect, nothing's happening. So after that, I'm like, all right, let me just use the work phone. When I go to the work phone, it's working. So I'm like, all right, man, probably a little malfunction with my phone, no problem. Now, when
Mhm.
you in the crib, there's no issues, right? You're on the Wi-Fi most of the time, so everything's working fine. I step out later that day, and I'm on the train. Usually on the train, when I get to like stops, I can check like if I got messages or go on the internet real quick. That's not happening. So I'm like, all right, maybe it's just one of those wanky days on the train. When I get
Mhm.
off, I'll be good, bro. When I got off, message is still not working, internet still not working. So I told my wife instantly, I'm like, listen, I don't know what the hell going on with my phone, but I sound like the ultimate, like I'm about to do some slick shit because here I am, all of a sudden,
Yeah.
nothing's like the messages aren't working, internet's not working, but I can make phone calls, right? So I call her and I'm like, yo, listen, I don't know what's going on right now. This is the only way I can communicate with you. I'm going to keep playing with the phone. I knew she was busy, so calling T-Mobile was not an option. So literally, man, I come back the next day and I call T-Mobile, and I'm like, "Yo, man, like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't got
Yeah.
service. Like, everything's paid. Like, this shouldn't be a problem." They said that every now and then, sometimes you get kicked off the server. So I'm like, "What was it like?" Y'all like niggas in the server was like, "We net capacity. We got to kick like three niggas out." So these three niggas over here kicking the
Hello.
server.
They chose my line. Like, why did they choose my line?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
do they? I think sometimes I don't know how long the outage was out, but you might be able to get them to, take $5, $10 off the bill next month, something like that. If you argue them down real good,
We'll
if
see.
it's
We'll
if it's significant, if it's
see.
significant. But yeah, man, we still got those that phone with the fruit on the back, right?
It was
We
T-Mobile, bro. It had nothing to do with iPhone.
oh my bad, bro, my bad, my bad. Just trying to throw a stab in there. Just trying to throw a stab in there from Team Joy. Team Joy, we're still out here, still out here.
That was cute. That was cute.
Yeah, man, you gotta
Ah,
think.
hmm
Yes. And we got the sad earlys, man.
yeah. So we at 812, man. Just thank you all for joining. You know what I mean? If you're listening to this later, whether it's on the stream, on the IG, we appreciate you taking the time to stop in with us, man. Every Wednesday we are here, 8 p.m. Eastern. My man Ken Katnick and myself. As
Mhm.
Kenny said earlier, episode 59, Utopia Views, is out now. If you have not heard Travis Scott's new album, make sure you go check it out. If you want some nice reviews, make sure you click the link in our bio after the show so you can go to YouTube and check out the nice footage that we got up there. I think we did a really good breakdown, brother. What you think?
I think it was decent. You know what I'm saying? We hit all the main points, hit the low lights as well. You need those. You know what I mean? You can't have the bad. I mean, the good without the bad. And I think we paid salute to the 59,000 guests that was on the album too. You know what I mean? We did what we could. We did what we could. But Trav, he delivered. He delivered. I got to go see the review.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Tanya, yes, I do that routinely. I call my I used to have cable. I got rid of them a while ago. But I call everybody
Straight.
and be like, "Listen, I don't like it here, man. I don't like I don't like anything." So trust me, we just actually read up on our service. We actually just switched over from Sprint to T-Mobile and got like all the offers, all the discounts that they
All the
could
good
give.
shit.
Yeah, so but yeah, trust me, in like another year or two, we're gonna be
That's a
right back
fact.
up in the store. Like, listen, man, I don't like the way y'all been treating me for 2 years.
Yeah, man. I've been showing up to my local mobile representative like a score to bounce. Like, listen,
Yeah.
man, dinner hasn't been hot in weeks. I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny with cell phones, like the Wi-Fi, your cable. You can switch every 12 months, man. Get the best promo to somebody else. Come right back next month after that. Insurances too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Geico. Gotta play
yeah,
the Geico progressive game in New York, man. It's crazy.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man, it's a fact. Um,
So some early things we're gonna touch on, man. As Kenny already stated, just it's just starting off on a somber note, unfortunately. So two quick RIPS, man. First one, this goes back at least to our childhood. um, but Paul Rubens, most of y'all may know him as the character Pee Wee Herman. This guy literally was really one of the most iconic figures I think growing up that we knew about. His infamous bike and his outfit, the gray suit with the red tie, and is the way he laughed. He's been a staple, and unfortunately, he has passed away at the age of 70. Man, when you think of Pee Wee Herman, man, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Definitely that red bike, the little song he had at the end of the shows. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he had some bullshit court issues, but that got pushed under the rug because he's a great guy. If I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, it was cool. Like, unfortunately, I found out after he passed away that he had like an actual stand up or two. You know what I'm saying? I never knew him in that capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
very
me
similar
neither.
to like Bob Saget. Like until they hit, you know, oh, that's right, they are like comedians, but people you see on TV every single day, you don't even put them in that other light. But I might want to go back. I might have
Yeah.
to go back and catch one of those. See how he did. But definitely a staple in the childhood memories for sure.
Yeah, I was glad to actually catch Bob Saget's stand up. The crazy, did you get to see it?
No, just like he was just one of those people that surprised me when he got to the stage.
Yeah, so it's crazy because it was nothing like his character on the show. Like he was cursing up a storm. It was like, what happened to Bob?
He said, "Where are the twins?" Like, it was
Like my eyes were big the entire time, but it was hilarious. And he literally played off of how timid they thought his character was in the bit. So it all worked out, man. But yeah, R.I.P. to Pee Wee Herman. And next up, man, Angus Cloud, man. This one really, really hurt, man. If y'all don't know who Angus Cloud is, he is infamous for his role as Fesco on the show Euphoria. And it caught me off guard because he was really really good at acting from what I saw and even some of the videos he was featured in. How did you feel when you first heard it?
I really was not hoping it was true. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, with the internet, 5 minutes later, you'd be like, yeah, it's real. More than 5 or 6 prominents start retweeting it and talking about it. It's like, damn, like fast. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was hurt because I seen Ash die in fake life as far as the show. You know what I'm saying? Then him passing in real life. I'm like, yo, these guys are killing it with this show.
Mhm.
But him personally, he was always seemed to be a very cool, calm, collected cat in the interviews that he wasn't. He wasn't in a lot though. Very low key guy, honestly. It was just sad to see him go at 25 too. Nonetheless, I did also get like a not that he's just because he happens to be white with the same kind of low profile, but I did get Mac Miller vibes as well a little bit when he did pass, just because it's just too young too soon. You know what I mean? So I don't know. And I believe his father also passed away a week ago as well, and the reports they said he took that a lot harder than they thought he would. I'm not sure if that's anything, but just sad to see him go at that age, bro. Super sad.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And as Jeff is saying in the chat, man, he was amazing in that role, played it to the T. And sometimes you always wonder about when some of these actors take these roles, how much of that role they take home with them. This is
Mm-hmm.
not making any assumptions about it, but
Yeah.
we can go all the way back to the guy who played the Joker in The
Yeah.
Dark Knight. You know what I mean? Like it was like such an empowering role where you literally have to let go of your current psyche and take on
Facts.
something completely different. Walking away from that is tough. And even Jack Nicholson spoke about how he had to like take like serious therapy and see somebody to kind of unwind from playing that role. So, but like you said, very sad to see, man. Definitely condolences to his family, friends, and anyone who's a fan to him, man. Uh, so with this next one, I'm gonna pass it to you, man. What we getting into?
Yeah, keeping in a unfortunate, sad lighting. Unfortunately, not as tragic, of course, but ESPN let Mark Jackson go, man. It's kind of I mean, kind of RP to his tenure over there at the ESPN network because I'm personally pissed about this, honestly, because if he ain't gonna fire me with all my boys, let me think I got an okay summer ahead of me. What I mean? Hey, we just off, and so NBA come back in October, we back at it. I'm hoping I get a little final spot. And the Doc Rivers edition, and then the news breaking, and then his news breaking like 40 minutes later at the time. I'm just like, Mark can't catch a break, bro. Like, outside of the whole Warriors, displacement, and now this, do you think he still sticks with basketball to some capacity? Like, what do you think he does?
I think he definitely sticks with basketball. I think he loves basketball to the core. I was hoping that this was probably a delay because they wanted to see if he still had some interest in something else as far as basketball. And, he made the decision to do that. I'm hoping for another announcement saying that, breaking news, Mark Jackson is now the coach of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think he loves the sport too much to walk away from it. But it would be interesting to see what he does next. I know Mike Breen is out there wondering what the hell he's supposed to do now. I mean,
Word.
Doris Burke is dope, but it's going to be interesting to see what Doc Rivers brings to the broadcast, seeing as though he's been screaming as a coach for the past like 10 years. So I
Yeah.
don't know. He's going to have to take some sort of soothing voice therapy to have a voice for
Mm-hmm.
broadcast media, but he has just as much basketball knowledge as anybody out there. So I don't think that he'll not bring anything of value, but we're going to miss that tandem of Jackson, Gundy, and Breen.
Yeah.
But we still got the bang, man. As long as we didn't lose the bang from Mike Breen, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, Breen's still repping. Breen's still repping out there. You know what I mean? Um, Question though, as far as that, now I really didn't think Doc Rivers would make this transition this quick. I really thought another couple of weeks or two would have got onto a team, but there's just really no spots available for him. Like, you don't think he didn't want to do like the maybe he wasn't ready for the off the court team involvement as far as management or back of house.
I think this is good for Doc. He needs to get out of the spotlight for a minute. He's had a bad couple years of just striking out, man. It's been a long time since 2008, man. Like he needs to reset and step away and really just yeah, I think this is perfect for him. He doesn't need to be a part of any franchise right now because he's been getting slack for being a part of what, four big franchises or three or four big franchises over the last what 15 years. I mean,
Hey, hey,
that's big, man.
hey, I tell you this, thank God for Boston. All right, thank God for Boston because his whole tenure just looks weird for whatever reason, the KG doesn't they don't make that moment. But hey, kudos to him. Hopefully he does well. What different sets of lights on him during the
Hmm.
finals. It's gonna be fun to be in the finals. I'm like, oh, Doc got here somehow. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
gonna be a weird feeling. But hey, whatever. Yeah. So he better be funny though, man. If he's not funny, I'm gonna be a little tight.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I think Van Gundy brought that little obnoxious point of view
Yeah.
that made it funny. And then Mark
Facts.
Jackson used to just clown him for being obnoxious. But I think it's going to be very hard to replace them. And I kind of give Doc some slack, man. He went through that LeBron era slash Steph Curry era slash Kawhi having the season of the year, and
And
then all
take
of a
it
sudden
off.
Giannis, yeah, and then all of a sudden Giannis is like the man. Like it wasn't like he was losing to anybody bad out there. Like
No,
he was going through
doing
some
his job.
terrible
Definitely doing his job.
errors, and you know what I mean. He did what he could with what he had, but to go out with that Harden and Embiid team, I mean, I don't think he got a fair shot there. But that's just my opinion, man. What's up, Sylvia? Thank you for joining.
Man, that's crazy. All right, but yeah, my bad. Just another bit of a tangent off the Mark Jackson thing. But I got to ask the basketball aficionado in my life what Doc's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But let me
yeah.
know.
No, the beautiful thing about it, it's all connected, man.
Mhm.
So just staying on basketball, going over to the women's side of things, man. Brittany Griner. If you don't know who she is a one of the most prominent WNBA players. Plays for the Phoenix Mercury, but if you remember a couple years ago, she got caught up in Russia with hashish. Kenny, I don't want to miss.
Yeah. Hey, I'm no expert.
she got caught up with with a marijuana type substance,
Mhm.
and she was over there for a long time, and we had to trade a well-known arms dealer for her, right? So
Mhm.
she's been back in the league. There was a lot of questions about would she be ready to get back on the court? Where would her mental health be, right? So they are at the midpoint of the WNBA season, and she has really asked to step away from their recent road trip to care for her mental health. And I think it's important that she was able to identify this because it could be plenty of reasons in the beginning that she said she was gonna play, that she thought she was ready to play, and it's not like she was even playing bad, but going through such a traumatic experience like what she
Correct.
went through in Russia,
Correct.
which I know I have no experience with. I think any time that she needs for herself should be automatically given, man. How are you feeling?
I was hoping I would say that this would never happen, but I honestly, like you said, going through Russia and being going through that kind of turmoil, even when I was just hoping she would get released, but she did. Thank God. I didn't honestly ever intend or plan on her coming back into the WWE. I'm extremely happy that she did. I'm happy that she kind of put 10 toes down. And said, "Yo, I'm a basketball player. I know I had a situation, but yo, I am a basketball player." She came back and she did that. You know what I mean? Phenomenally as well. All star
Yeah.
selection. You know what I'm saying, off the rip. But her taking a step back now, I kind of feel like not that you're double dipping, but I think she might be figuring out that it might have been too much too quick. So you know what I mean. So hey, I'm happy she was able to acknowledge the issue, let everybody know what's going on, everybody respect the wishes, give her the time that she needs to recoup and regroup. But I was hoping honestly that she would take some personal time of freedom before being released from that situation and then kind of locking into something else. Don't get me wrong, like the freedom of being a NBA WNBA player has its pluses and minuses, but it's a lot to kind of endure going from where she was to what she's doing now. So hey, take the time that you need. Hope you're here for the playoffs. But hey, man, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? It's mental health is important, so you got to respect it.
Oh well, she ain't got to worry about the playoffs, man. This season is not looking good.
Oh wait,
But
whoa! There's no playoff implications here on the team. Then we got a whole nother ball game. Maybe. Nah, go ahead. I hate it.
yeah, playoffs are not looking like it's in the Mercury's future. But to your point, get well, Brittany. Take all the time you need. All right, so moving into the weekend's festivities, man. Cardi B, aka Cardiano Rivera. She had a very active weekend this weekend, man. She was testing out her arm. She released a recent track, visuals for "Jealous Ass Bitch," with her husband Offset. Very good video, very good song, by the way. So it's so interesting. The video goes out. It's dope as hell. Gets mad views. Then she's up in Dre's, man. And from the video that I saw, there's a fan with water, and I like what Jeff put in the chat. There's a fan with a cup and a liquid substance in it, and all you see is this splash going Cardi's direction, and she instantly goes into Cardiano Rivera mode and
Mm-hmm.
launches the mic at the fan.
Yeah, pretty
There's
smart.
been a yeah, there's been a lot of issues with artists and people throwing stuff on stage. From the era I come from, is if we will go way back to like how my father grew up, maybe it was tomatoes, you know what I'm saying? If you sucked on stage. But from my era, it would have to be a really terrible performance or they didn't like you to throw
Mhm.
stuff on stage. Now
Yes,
it just looks like it's a fad. So what are you
correct.
feeling about this new fad apparently?
That's what I'm super nervous about. Because back then, it felt like everybody didn't have a lawyer, right? So if there was a melee, someone did disrespect through a tomato, whatever the case may be. If there was security on deck for a situation like that, in a situation to get washed up, thrown into the street, very Jazzy Jeff style back in the '90s, probably early 2000s. And hey, you took an L, got to keep it moving. Now, everyone has video cameras. This is assault. It was an issue. Yes, I threw the water, but there shouldn't even be a but. You threw water. People are very used to the whole doing something malicious and not assuming there'll be a reaction because they're used to putting it online and just closing the phone and walking off. They think it's the
Mm.
same thing in person. So, two things to Cardi. Hey, shouts to the aim. I forgot she was a lefty. That was super dope to see the switch up. You know what I'm saying? To go from Mike to and that quick to get the Mariano Cardiano out. But they're gonna. I think artists are just gonna charge more in the event because they need that extra security now on staff in order to supply a show. That's what I'm here to do. But if you can't control your fans, which it'll be hard for an artist to tell a promoter or you to do, you can't do that. The best we could do is hey, up the price, more security, and hopefully it reduces the amount that's happening. But shows are
So
going on. But
so do you see them potentially starting to ask for those barriers, like some plastic joints or something like that? Because to your point, I mean, if you charge, like, who are you charging more? The promoter? You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
it gets very sticky in that situation.
it might be on a venue slash promo a promoter situation just because if they have the venue already has the I guess the machine of that in place where it can protect the artist, great. We'll charge you as is. But if it's something they have to orchestrate or create on site, that's a whole nother ball game of fees that I don't even want to know about. But nobody wants to go to a show with plastic up between them, you and the artist. Like you pay money to see them with no TV, no lens for once. Show up and still kind of see this little filter. You're gonna be questioning if that's really them on the other side. Like this ain't that clear afterward. Like the Kanye
Yeah, but
mask.
yeah, but then security ain't gonna be able to dive in front of the ice cube in time. Like, so that's why that's the only thing I can see. Like, if you really want protection, that's literally the only thing I can see. I mean, they use. I remember how the Pope used to roll around with the bulletproof joint. Like, if you
Yeah,
really want to be protected as an artist these days, unless you're just gonna have security all around the joint looking to beat people up, but then you got a battery charge on your hands. So, sticky
I see.
business, man.
I see a lot of artists just adding the casualty rider on the top of their bill, whatever it may be.
Mm.
Like I'm charging an extra 20,000 just in case I get hit with a cup, just in case somebody sneaks a very heavy ice cube in. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm hit like Jeff said, I'm hitting for flowers, panties, and bras. Anything more than that, I'm not asking for. Keep your size 12 Jordan 4 with you. Don't
Yeah,
throw this thing. You know what I'm saying? Casualty.
yeah, you had people throwing phones, all kinds of weird stuff, man.
Yeah.
So, but it turns out the fan wasn't the only one that took a mic to their body, man. She was also at another performance, and she threw a mic at her DJ. Now they say it's the
Oh.
DJ. Yeah, they say it's the DJ. It's a lot of rumors. There's also rumors that he was messing up the music, cutting it short, messing up a performance. But she had a very active weekend this weekend. I'm pretty sure her shoulders probably sore, but people forget Cardi's about that action, and
I mean, yeah.
if you don't do right by her, you know what I mean. She turned into Barty real quick.
Yeah, smoke from the Bronx comes free of charge. There's no reason to think that just because she wasn't in the Bronx that the smoke still wasn't getting distributed for free. So, yeah, there's some trees you couldn't bark up, and regardless of the status, she will always let you know she ain't the one. And hey, I love that about her because she is that person, but she got to be careful. But she got lawyers, so it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the funny joke I threw on one of the joints was, she just signed for 10 million for a year to the Yankees because we know they need all the help they can get right now with their
Yeah,
pitching staff.
look at the girl over there in NY in the Bronx, man. I mean, yeah, they definitely can use her. At a
Yeah,
minimum, get out to throw the first pitch if they make it to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see.
got you, got you. All right, man. Moving on to the fight of the weekend. Well, one of the fights of the weekend. This weekend was actually very, very interesting. And a quick caveat: shout out to Deborah from the Community Bridge Home. The pop-up shop this past Saturday in Queens was awesome. It was great interacting with all the different entrepreneurs, and of course, wifey did her thing. It was really good to be a part of that, man. So right after that, I'm hyped. You got the main event of UFC. You had Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. But on the boxing end, you had Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence Jr., two undefeated dudes. And I totally couldn't wait for this fight. And I fell asleep. I fell asleep and missed everything, but woke up just in time at 1:30 to get all the news of all the great fights.
All the
So
deets.
yeah, man, it was sad. It was very sad. But we're gonna just go into Crawford and Errol Spence, man. Now, what was your reaction? Do you feel like the fight went the way you thought it would?
I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, I was at a separate event as well on a Saturday evening with no pay-per-view TVs in the venue. So
Hmm.
outside of eating dinner, we kind of just fake checking, phone updates. But even at the table, I'm like, yeah, I think looking line, like I know Crawford something. I think Spence got this. Like that was my opinion at the table. You know what I'm saying? This was pre midnight. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, you know what? I think he you know what I mean I think he's got this. By the time I get home, see the clips in the reviews, and then the next day I wake up, I see Stephen A. I'm like, wait a minute, it was that bad? Like, hey, two undefeated, someone must understand that. But the way the the reviews on it was like he really got his ass beat like that. I'm like, come on, like a knockdown on one thing, but y'all acting like he wasn't a undefeated pound for pound 12 rounds ago. You know what I'm saying? I really hate that boxing turnover when they do lose, but I was hoping it would be more of a 50-50 fight. But hey, Crawford got it, man. Shouts to him.
Yeah, I remember actually being at your house right after we came back from celebrating Savannah. We was talking with Jay, and me and Jay had the same thoughts. Like, yo, we love Errol Spence, but something about Bud, man, something about Bud
Mm-hmm.
Crawford. Just it was like I don't see him losing. Similar to you, I thought it was going to be a good fight, probably a decision. If it was a knockout, it was going to be on somebody made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But to your same thing that you said, it looks like he got beat very bad, right?
Yeah.
So I did not expect it to go that way, same as you. So now the next part about this with Stephen A, as you mentioned, he went as far as to say Spence should retire.
I'm
Do
like,
you think it was that bad?
like I was so upset. I'm like, yo, do I have to go like go back in time, like try to find this fight live to see each and every round? Because I didn't understand. Like it couldn't have been that bad. Like 12 rounds ago, this man was an
Mm,
undefeated pound for pound. I know there are such things as bad fights, but to go into retirement. I was like, damn,
mm.
Steve, like you got a big old platform. You can't be like, nah, bro, you can't. This ain't it, man. Let that man get his rematch on at some point, hopefully. If Crawford even accepts it, because a lot of people up and coming waiting for him too. But
Yeah,
that was wild extreme from Stephen A. on my point.
yeah, yeah. I agree, man. I don't think it was that bad where he has to retire. I do feel like he has to do reevaluate his boxing career.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Minus? Thank you for joining, man. I do feel like he needs to reevaluate his boxing career because it wasn't too long ago. What was it, like 3, 4 years ago? He had that bad car accident,
Yeah.
and he had to rehab from that. Then he had the fight after that, but even in that fight, he didn't look too impressive, even though he won. And then
Mm-hmm.
right after that, you take on Bud Crawford. So But yeah, I don't think it's as far as retirement. I think you definitely get back in the lab, reevaluate your training.
That was
Maybe
my
if
next question for you. Like, is when you are undefeated with this school and then you lose, is it time to regroup as a whole family, or you kind of discard everything that you got to that point and kind of start fresh?
it depends on the weight cut. I don't know at what weight they were, if he felt comfortable at that weight. I know there was somebody talking about he would probably be better at another weight. I didn't get that deep into the details, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's time to cut your training staff like homeboy just did Garcia that lost to Javante. But it may be looking at the training camp. Something probably didn't work during that weight cut, and if that was the case, then you probably need a new a strength and conditioning person, nutritionist, something along those lines. But I think Derek James is his trainer, so and they've been at it for a while. So I don't know. I don't think it's time to change the
Oh yeah, that's
staff
successful.
yet. Yeah,
So we had one bad fight, man. One bad fight. We're gonna regroup as a family, get it right, get it right. That's what's up.
yeah.
All right. All right.
So so up next though for Spence, that's what I feel is up next for Spence. Just reevaluate. For Terrence Crawford, man, he's got several different next potential people that he could fight. But I like the Jamel Charlo joint just because of the story that he told on $1 million worth of game about how the minute he said he was gonna fight Spence, Jamel Charlo started like talking trash and taking Spence side. So I want to see that aggression in the ring, and I want to see them go at it. If Spence doesn't try and push for the rematch.
I'll make sure you keep that same energy. Yeah, if you do so. But yeah,
Absolutely.
that'll be a good matchup. I can't even hold you.
Yep.
That'll be a good matchup. Shall see. We gotta announce somebody sooner within the next month. You gotta feel like.
Indeed, indeed.
Is ready time? Time for the main topic. All right, my man. We are here, people. Thank you so much for joining. We do appreciate your time this way, especially on a Wednesday. Hump day. We know we ain't got no tacos, but hopefully you are eating dinner. I gotta go on the way for you. But tonight, man, the topic is more so people see what they've learned to see. Talk to me about that, sir.
Yeah, man. So there's the infamous line is people see what they want to see, and just from being a part of some really like in-depth psychology conversations lately, there's the there's the switch side of people see what they've learned to see, and this comes from sitting with a regional psychologist by the name of Dr. Sidney Hankerson. He's doing really great work with the community in New York City, and he offered this piece of advice to kind of level set and tell us, it's a lot of the times when we see things through our lenses, it's not because we want to see it, it's because experiences that we've had and things that have happened to us have taught us that when we see something, this is what it means for us, right? And the best example I can give you is if your very first experience with a dog is they tried to like take your arm off. Every
Yes, sir.
time you see a dog now, you remember that very first experience where that dog tried to take your arm off. And no matter how much that person is telling you, no, I'm telling you, it's a good dog. They won't bite you. They just want to smell you. You're like, hell no, keep that motherfucker away from me. Like, so that's just an example of it, man.
Been there, done that. I hear you for that, man. That's a fact.
Hmm.
Um, question as far as learn not more so learn behaviors, but learning what you see. Have you had this ever happen to you, like in your, I guess, your professional life, where you kind of just inherit something just by being around it so often?
Yeah, so I had to. One of my very first mentors was really militant with how he led, right? And it was more so efficiency over everything. We don't have time to teach you how to be efficient. We don't have time for it. You know what I mean? The time that you need to rest or you not understanding something. We have a goal to get to. Either you learn how to get to the goal or you're going to get left behind. And just watching how this person was progressing in life, I naturally thought, okay, if I want to get there, I need to mimic this behavior to some sense because everyone seems to follow suit with this person. And boy, the minute I tried to implement that type of leadership style, man, it really didn't work out. It did not work out. Yeah. So I had to identify it and then switch it up, man.
Okay.
What about you?
As far as work, it's funny because I'm watching Suits now. I feel very Mike Ross as far as that. But just being able to kind of navigate through life without the whole college etiquette of it. So I kind of just learned pretty hands on with my mentors at work. And as time goes on and experiences, at the beginning, I was very uh, not lackluster, but more so not taking it as serious as far as like something as simple as red lines. Like my boss design, they use 6, 7, sometimes 8 different colors. If he's like, if you did a set of drawings, he just wants to review what this is. He'll pull out the highlighters, the stickies, the all kinds of stuff. And I would get it back then, like 10, 15 years ago. I'd be like, it's good, H. I get it like 10, 15 years ago. I'll be like, this is a lot of shit, man. But now today's, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, yeah, I thought I nailed it. You know what I mean? As far as things he just is looking for going forward. That's what
Real, real quick, explain to the people what red line mean.
oh man, I apologize. In a set of drawings, before it gets to the final stage, it has to go through a review process. So whether I do the review, or my boss does the review, or one of the partners does the review, it gets redlined, which is literally taking a pen, scratching out something, writing over what should be. But my boss, 15 years ago, he'll have a red pen for certain numbers here. He'll use a blue pen for this, a green pen for this item. He'll get the sticky note, do it with this, pull other excerpts and add. I'm like, man, just let me start over. I'll just start over. Like, you know what I mean? But back then I thought it was excessive. You know what I mean? But now in today's time, with me redlining, through other people associated below me, I'm just like, my purple pen. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see myself doing the same thing. Like, I just need to be extremely explicit. Like, I don't need to play this. And that's all he was trying to
Yes.
do back then. You know what I mean? So that was absolutely one of the most learned behaviors I've ever come across, as far as just experiencing it repeatedly and being forced to do it just because you notice it's the right way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had a positive one in professional life.
All right, so flipping over to the personal, man. How does this show up in your personal life?
This is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of personal experience might not be for the better, but you still got to experience it. You know what I'm saying? It's like some things you find out is like, nah. If you want a bottle to come here at this price in this club, you got to talk to that manager. You go over there, still get beat in the head. It's like, but he told me, all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those lessons where you try to inherit or pick up what someone has done before doesn't work
Hmm.
out. You just look around like, yo, bro, I thought, you say, oh, I should be having to switch on. What? That can't be the explanation. So the personal version of this story isn't as consistent, probably because that demand isn't there. That not expectancy level is lower, but there's no money involved. So it's a little different. I think that's the main key. There's
Hmm.
no money involved. How about you on the personal side?
Yeah, on the personal side, I think the hardest, the worst behavior I learned was to hold my feelings in relationships at a certain point. Because before that, I thought I was Mr. Love at like 11, 12 years old. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Have crushes, writing letters and shit. Do you like me? Yes, no, maybe, getting mad no's and shit. And it was a rough beginning to life, man. Like it was rough in these junior high school streets for me. Like it was tough. But as I got through like high school and college and going through like different situations, man, it was like at some point it just clicked. Like I was just like, fuck it, it's gonna be about my, what I want to do in life, and just getting my own self satisfaction. You know what I mean? And even through identifying that, it was like, I ain't nobody gonna want to be with, with me, with feeling like this and all this other shit. But definitely in the personal life, as you can see, I learned a lot of negative shit, but it made me feel like I was doing something good for me.
Yes.
And after a while, if I just want to be by myself at the age of like 60, 70, 80, it was like, all right, you're gonna have to shift some behaviors, man. So
Yes.
still learning, and as y'all will see in episode 60, I'm still a work in progress.
One day at a time, man. Everybody's one day at a time. You know what I mean? Can't get
Hmm.
mad at that. Can't get mad at that. That's right. That's funny. Very similar to Circle Yes, you getting a lot of no's. After my first 3 or 4 no's, I'm like, oh, I got it. I must be ugly. I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm handing out letters to 2 yeses on, like, your circle one. Like, you know what I mean? Think it's gonna work out. Like, I just at that point, now I'm not getting letters. Now I'm not getting letters back at all. I'm just like, yo, what's this mean now? Not knowing if you're feeling it, not feeling it. Yeah, man, it was rough. It was rough, y'all. It was rough. There was no pickup lines back then. It was like, how many circle yes, no.
He said there was 2 boxes to check. Yes and hell yes.
So pick one. Pick one. Be sure about your choice. Please be sure about your choice.
No doubt, no doubt.
I got a question for you. I know you said with the positive, not the positive, that there wasn't much positive outlook on the personal side. Like, at what point did you notice that it is negative? Like, it's like, oh shit, the stuff that I was taking in like wholeheartedly isn't really good for me. Like, how did you? Like, one, when did you realize that? And two, what did you do to kind of like make a U-turn, like, or get off the road?
I mean, I noticed it when what I'm saying. I found my woman. You know what I mean? Like it was one of them situations where she also had learned behaviors that she was like, you can't act like none of these niggas that I've been with. Otherwise, that's an instant red flag that I'm out. So
Mhm.
it was like at that point, it was like, listen, either you gonna figure your shit out, or you might as well let this good situation that you got go in front of you.
Okay.
So a lot of it was really finding ways to disconnect from that what I consider to be this fun, outgoing interest in life, and translating that into this one woman man and being all about her. That's a hard fucking thing to do.
It's a
You know what
transition.
I mean? It's a hard fucking thing to do, but it's a lot of time, it's a lot of self conversations. You know what I mean, and a lot of willpower, whole
That
lot of
was my next. That was my next level. It's like, was this something that you was able to identify within yourself, or someone had to put your hand on their shoulder, like, hey, bro, let me talk to you for a second. You know what I mean?
No, it was honestly all me, man, because there was nothing but savages around me at the time. So I could have showed up and been like, "Yo, I'm about my woman there," to be like, "Cool." Next day, be like, we about to get these hoes?" They like, "Cool." Like,
You said we here for the today, my brother. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
tomorrow hit me. Like, you know what I mean? But we here for the today. We definitely here for the
uh,
today.
yeah, man. Mhm.
As far as I'm going to do on my end, I don't know if I'm aware enough to notice it on my own. I usually need one. I need like I'll take the opinion of one person to make me put the microphone. I mean, not the microphone, but the telescope on it. And be like, okay, what's the thought? You know what I mean? Now I'm focused on it. You know what I mean? But if I focus on it, nothing looks out of order, and I hear it from another party. I'm like, all right, now I got to take a step back. Maybe it's something I am or something that is. You know what I mean? Now I got to evaluate it
Yeah,
from a whole nother box. You know what I mean? But
yeah, yeah.
I usually unfortunately, with bad shit in my life that I continue to do, I would need a co-sign. It's like, yo, bro, I know you having fun. I know you having fun, bro. This ain't it, man. This ain't it. Like,
Yeah, man.
I'm like,
Yeah,
what? I thought this was it. You know what I mean? I definitely need the
yeah.
co-sign. Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm still working on myself.
Hey, listen, and that's the good part is that you know that, right? Because
Mhm.
some people will sit with themselves and be like, "Nah, I'm chilling." You know what I mean? Like I don't see anything wrong with what I'm doing. I don't get where you're coming from, and those people is tough if they're people that you really love and care about, because it's
Absolutely.
like, damn, I like you don't want to watch them just dig a hole, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to come grab them and get them away from it, like you know what I mean? Like let it go.
So, but you be having on good shoes. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like you in the muddy part of it. To the, all right,
Hell yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Lifeline.
Yep. Absolutely, man.
I
Absolutely.
got a question for you. If you personally was able to pinpoint or spot someone, whether it be close to you professionally or personally, would you be able to be that hand on their shoulder to go, yo, I don't think such and such is what you should be doing? Like, are you aware enough, or are you more so? Let's just see. Are you more of a sit back out of there? Let's see what happens. Like, You know what I mean?
It depends on my relationship with you and the situation where you have a bad learned behavior. Because in some cases, I know that these people are resorting to this behavior. It's not consistent. It's because of the situation that they're in. Like
Absolutely.
they are a natural good communicator, but they're in a situation where there is someone who is just not working well in their situation, and they
Yes.
need to be a little bit more deliberate with their delivery and like, no, I need you to do this, this, this. It can't be
Mhm.
about excuses. It can't be about none of that other shit. You got to get this done. But if I do have a good relationship with the person and I feel like they do need me to say something to them, the first thing I'll ask them is, would you like my opinion? Because I don't want to just start trying to tell you about something that I see about you. And then you look at me like, motherfucker, I didn't ask you for your opinion. Like, you
Ain't
don't
that
know
the worst?
me. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, or it's like, I feel like you're judging me or stuff like that. I always give disclaimers in the beginning because I don't want you to take what I'm saying and then make it seem like it's an attack.
Yeah, yeah. It's a fact.
You know
It's a
what
fact.
I mean? Because once somebody feels attacked, man, you've lost all means of communication. Whatever you're trying to say is not going to land, and it just becomes an unnecessary issue, and even an argument or worst case scenario, it can mess up a relationship.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, I do my best. Like I kind of have a motto with that. As far as me personally, like I got the one time rule. Like if I do see something, I do my best to address it the first time I see it. Real clean cut to the point, not really holding many no jabs. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little hurtful. It might not be something you not want to hear, but you're gonna hear from me the one time. Digest that as you may. Regardless of our relationship, whether it be professional or personal. I got the same. This is my like a life rule for me personally. And see if you going out of whack, I'll say it one time. If you don't heed to it, in my head, I'm like, all right, they are a got to see the stove is hot kind of person. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of leave it at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I will do my best to avoid being in that same circumstance or situation with you where you feel that is
Yeah,
something that I know is wrong. You know what I mean? But as I said the one time, I'm just assuming everybody that I know is intelligent enough to know that I said something, you took your way. Hey, I respect it, kinda, but I'm gonna let you keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I just hope your oven. I mean, as far as finding out the stove is too hot, is yo, bro, I need you to bail me up. Like, oh, nigga.
yeah, yeah.
I was trying to tell you, like, you know what I mean. As long as it's not, you praise not one of those, but I let that person get to that limit for them to find out on their own. You did your part.
Yeah, and I do find that it's a mixed bag as we're getting older of how many people it's okay to have that conversation with. I feel like it's gotten easier with a lot of my friends as we've gotten older, because I know a couple that when we were like in our early 20s, it would have been like, nigga, you taking some sort of
Cool time.
conscious self reevaluation class? Like, you trying to bring all of this enlightenment, nigga? We trying to go out here and turn up and shit.
It's like,
Um, yeah, so it also depends on who you are in the friendship too as well. Like, you can't be the dude that's out there ripping and running that's gonna come and give the advice because now people looking at you like, how you gonna tell me I need to chill? You don't chill. Like, you out there every day. How you gonna tell me that? Ah,
Shay Sweet thing for the hold it feelings and create resentment. And unfortunately, after I get my thought off that first time, if it's a repeated action, now I'm just kind of holding all that in because I already
mm,
set my piece. You know what I'm saying? And I hope it doesn't build resentment. I hope it doesn't build a wall between me and whomever. But I never thought about it that way as far as because it's not like I cut them off as a person or whatever capacity. I just don't participate in whatever that activity or doing was with them anymore. If that was the thing, you know?
yeah.
But it can't cause resentment though. Like if somebody continually disrespects you, like yo, I don't want you doing coke no more. All right, cool. Every time they show up to the party, woo! Like he's like, fam, dog, you want to go to the bathroom at a minimum? Like you know what I mean? If it's one of those, it's just like you going, my mom's is
Like,
here. Like it's like you don't think it's a problem. It's one of those. It's like, damn.
You try to offer it to grandma and shit.
Yo, she thought it was regular meds. Fam, you can't, you can't do that.
It's like
You
this
know what I
better than
mean?
that aspirin, grandma.
You know what I mean? So, that's what
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, I kind of gotta just take a back seat, and I might have to just resent you. Like, yo, what
Yeah.
happened? Nigga, you offered my grandma. It's like, but yeah, like,
Serious.
it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're not listening. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta bring them. Man.
Yeah.
Let them find out the stove is hot.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But it was just amazing to think about that line, man. Like people see what they've learned to see. And, it's always interesting to hear everybody's take in the chat on what you think of something like that. People see what they want to see versus people see what they've learned to see. It allows us to get deeper into why we think that when people are in certain situations, they instantly think a certain thing is happening, or they instantly go to a certain feeling that, oh no, I got to get out of here, because when I see those type of things happening, I know what's about to happen next. Not to be confused with those who can read the room. That is still a talent. That is still very
Yes.
much a talent. But we're talking about those really deep down traumatic experiences that just linger as a person gets older. Because the worst thing you would like to do is pass it on to your children or hold your friends at that judgment because you've been through something.
I got a terrible story from a friend of mine. Way back, gotta be early 2000s. Him and his girl would always go out. That's the couples. But she was a hothead. It is what it is. After the parties, they'll always get into the shine matches. It is what it is. This one party specifically, whatever. They get into another shouting match. She's actually, actually placing hands and feet on him, right? Cops show up. She goes on to say, "Oh, he grabbed my neck." She was wild light skin. Cops took him away. He was doing nothing but defending himself the whole night, and there was nothing we could do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, that's their business. They do that all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But now in present time today, don't really trust females. Like, you know what I'm saying? That one situation specifically, he'd be
Yeah.
like, yo, she was fighting me, bro, and I went to jail that night. Like, I'm like, I was there, bro. I know. Like, I can't even be like, nah, everybody ain't the same. Like, I know that was one situation, one person, one night. You know what I mean? But that's a lot to endure for someone
Yeah.
that young. You know what I mean? So um, that was a unfortunate learned behavior he picked up on that needs to change. But I don't know how to change it for him other than like, yo, you got to get out there and meet people. Like that doesn't happen in 2023. I don't even know how it happens. Honestly. So for people our age,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
but he's still very keeps that very close knit to himself as far as we've been cool and chill for a month or two, but I don't know. I've never been to a house yet, so you know what I mean. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm like, hey, you know what? Consume much ain't better than house yet. Hey, maybe she is hot. But like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Yeah.
now I see me siding with him in situations like, hey, maybe she ain't the one. I said it like 4 girls straight now. I don't know what else. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's an unfortunate way that they can have a wild effect on you.
No, yeah, that's actually another really good example. I mean, it literally be stuff like that. It's just like the people who can't, can't get into relationships for other reasons of experiences they have with others, right? I had a homeboy who will no longer date women who have kids because of the experience he had with the baby father. You know what I mean? Like it was to the point where why am I defending my life because you had a baby with somebody and you telling me y'all are done? Like and I know ladies, y'all probably been on the other end of this as well, and it's just it becomes too much to the point where now you will meet a good person, they check all the boxes, and then they be like, oh yeah, I can't make Tuesday because I gotta drop my kid off, but how about Friday? Niggas be like, oh, done.
I'm not here for them. I'm not. Like my rain check list is low. Like I don't really have time for that. Like, that's
Yeah,
crazy. That is crazy. Yeah,
well,
man.
man.
People see what they've learned to see, man. I can't really uh, say that any other more precise than that, my guy. Like I can't hold you.
Yeah.
This is a good one today. I do appreciate the thumbs up.
No doubt, man. Every Wednesday we here.
We on this platform, we on the YouTube stream, we on the Twitter stream. I don't think Thread's got a stream yet, but when they do, we'll be there as well.
Yeah, man.
Other than that, broski,
Well, I agree, Tanya. Perception is everything, and that's where that learned behavior of what you learn to see comes into play, right? And a lot of us, we find the will to work with someone who has learned some tough behaviors if their lens is a little bit, um, tainted because of past experiences, because they are good people, but it's also up to that person with that tainted view to work on being stronger as well, because there's no destination to it. You're not healed. We're all healing from our experiences, and hopefully you find someone, or you are finding your healing journey, because you don't need someone to heal. That's very important to know. But yeah, man, it's always a pleasure to sit here and have these type of conversations. That's what FCP does, man. We bring the good conversations to the platforms for everybody to weigh in, engage with us, all that good stuff, man. So just some quick things. Episode 60. I know it's super early, but August 15th will be here before y'all even know it. So episode 60, we have amplified our conversation on gaslighting. We brought in two very good guests. I'm not going to tell y'all who they are, but you will see the promotions coming out sooner than later. So we really want y'all to go check that one out. We had a good conversation on gaslighting on here, so you can only imagine how much better it got with two more perspectives added to the conversation. It was a great panel.
oh, I'll talk to you, but next Wednesday it might be a little pivot. Barclays 50
Yeah,
Cent. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We'll talk about it. I'll let y'all know what's happening next week.
yeah. Next week, FCP is very, very busy. So we may have we, we will have to do the power shift to a different day next week, but hopefully it's just for next week. August is looking kind of funny, but
August is funny, man. A lot of school shit coming up, a lot of last minute flights.
yeah,
Man. But
yeah. But we will find a way. We will find a way to bring y'all this conversation every week, man. Without that, that's it for me, man. You could close us out.
Hey, man, you already know the vibes. Hey, as always, it's Wednesday. Go eat some, man. If your kids ain't sleeping, put them to sleep. What y'all doing? You got work tomorrow, man. Get out of here. Thanks so much for coming out tonight, man. Love you. I appreciate it.
Later, bro.
Peace.